I used to be a professional window washer. About 15 years ago, I made, on a bad day, $25 an hour. On a good day, about 95 an hour. It's cheap to start up and easy to maintain. Get yourself bonded and insured to be respectable, and you can easily get going for as little as $100 out of pocket for equipment. No degree or higher education needed. Look into sewers, not literally. If your local municipality or some contractors are hiring, then sewer inspection tends to have low entry requirements and a decent starting salary for the work involved. I've seen roundatouse $15 to start EA. It's stinky and it's hardly prestigious, but it's undeniably useful and honest work. Also, sewer guys tend to be really chill. Looks, I quoted low on the starting wage. People are saying nowadays it's over $20 in most places. VOC is a good one. Lot of demand for help there. You start folding metal ducts, then learn furnace installation and repair on the job. Good money to start and very good money after 10 years. Ups driver. I'll make $100 this year for delivering boxes, plus free health insurance and a pension, and a $400 netto. Answer some questions. Work about 50-55 hours a week. Ups pays pension to us when we retire, and we can also pay into a Prudential 400 ONIC. I'm not entirely sure when my 400 ONIC started. Maybe when I went full-time. I contribute 10 currently. So when I retire, I'll have those two sources of income, plus Social Security, plus my VA disability check 60, which is like $11.80 a month. Now I think it is a dirty and tiring job. I live in Oklahoma, so hot summers and dry but mostly mild winters, 30s and 40s with an occasional ice storm. Back of the truck can get over 130 degrees in the summer. Same thing for the trailers at the hub. You're gonna sweat and probably lose weight. You'll get black dust from conveyor belts all over you, and you'll be picking out black boogers every day. This is not an easy career path, but as someone who went to college for 2 semesters and has a felony conviction, what else is there that pays this well? Does anyone have any suggestions for small women? Everything suggested are trades and manual labor, and while women can do those jobs, they are often looked over in the hiring process. I'm 5'3" and 110 I get looked at and am automatically assumed to be not strong enough to do the job. I could go to a trade school, but that kind of defeats the unskilled, uneducated part of the quest, and unplease suggest anything except babysitting. As others have mentioned, consider going into a trade. If you're made of strong stuff, I would suggest plumbing. Bonded plumbers are some of the highest paid tradesmen, and the earning potential is going to skyrocket over the next decade, much like nursing, or probably worse. The largest aged demographic of plumbers is reaching retirement age, and there are not even close to enough people going into the profession to replace them. I've got a friend who is a roofer, and he pays guys $25 an hour as long as they'll show up for work and do the job. It's hard work, and it's hot AF in the summer, but the pay's good. If you're a hard worker and willing to learn any of the trades, will be willing to take you on and teach you, really. Waste management. 1. Trash dudes make good money. Quote. Kids love the truckstry. Don't have to deal with people much. I know plenty of folks with just a high school degree that are food inspectors at the USTA. Start out as a grade 5.30 a year, then you'll get to a grade 7 around 40, and then you can get a promotion to a C and get bumped to a 9 around 50. Plus whatever ought you get. Jobs are legit all over the country. Great insurance, a Pensenhofer 100 ONIC, that's right, both, and you won't get fired unless you truly suck at being an employee or rival any federal government job you can get that doesn't require a secondary degree. I can't speak for other countries, but in America, the post office, it requires a high school diploma and to pass a very easy test. You get decent pay that can easily support a family, benefits, guaranteed vacation time, and the job is pretty cool. I have done most jobs in the USPs, but being a carrier is the best. I'm alone the entire time. I listen to podcasts while I deliver, and being out in the weather is something I really look forward to. You'll start off as non-career, but depending on city size, you can convert very quickly. Garbage collector, I think. I wouldn't say my fiancé was unskilled or uneducated, but he works as a forklift driver for a popular freight company making $28 sure. Cleaning up crime scenes pays well. Contractors are struggling for tradesmen right now. My job is literally taking people right out of tech school or off the streets and teaching them sheet metal assembly or fitting. Job security is great, and the pay grades are unbeatable by smaller shops. Start a little business, tree rimming, lawn work, landscaping. My brother didn't go to college, barely finished high school, started helping neighbors with little jobs like that. We had a bunch of older people in the neighborhood, and they knew he was a good person. Then he bought better mower, then a truck, started to branch out, hired some people. Now he is doing very well, and I am super proud of my younger brother. I hope he is more successful than me in the end, because he has a heart of gold unlike me. Be willing to do jobs other people won't do. Funeral home Finwiren home was an example. I simply mentioned a job I under no circumstance would ever do myself. Don't know where you're at, but find a school for plumbers. Even in this pandemic, you're still gonna need hot water. They're never out of work. Make some damn good, too. Get in a trade union. They'll teach you. It can be rough at the start as you're the low guy on the list, but it will work out. A job that other people don't want to do, like crime scene cleanup. After my roommate committed suicide by shotgun, it cost about $1,000 to clean up the mess. Not bad money for a day's work with a mop, a bucket, and a strong stomach. Railroads do on the job training, and you can make a lot of money if you don't mind shifts. Trades or military. Either way, you won't be unskilled for long. Along the lines of trades people are recommending, try the jewelry field. You can take online classes through the Geoglycol Institute of America website and work at a jewelry store easily. You make good money, it's very low stress, usually comes with benefits, and you work with beautiful things you can be proud to sell and be around, with lots of room for more education and therefore higher pay. Truck driver. Post office. You have to have decent memory, and that's it. I'll admit it's a job where the new employees are abused, but once you work your way to regular, it's a great paying and stable job. First aid. Not only do I know how to look after anybody if they hurt themselves, I'm also trained to treat children, which is beneficial when you have your own. The other part of this is that I get to work at some pretty awesome events, including, but not limited to, festivals, stock car races, and football soccer matches, and this isn't my main job either, just a second one to help my paychecks get that little bit fatter, well worth looking into. People make decent money here holding the stop soul signs at roadworks. Get a ticket from TAFE and off you go. General labor pays surprisingly well. I've got a cousin that lives up in Michigan and makes something like 50 grand a year working in a factory. The cost of living up there is so low that it's probably more like 80 grand a year anywhere else. He is 34 or 35 and has a paid-off house, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom who substitute teaches a handful of times per year. Ups, but only if you are okay with Big Brother watching you and long hours. Stay with it long enough, and you get a pension. My husband got to retire at 50 working there. Amazed I didn't see it. A welder pays well. You can usually learn on the job. Many companies have training programs for this. Acquire skills in MIG, TIG, and stick welding. You can improve and become a shipyard welder, or for skikra you can handle heights. Some of this will be more automated in the future, but there's a lot that will not be. Construction also pays well. Some have programs to send you for training on the large equipment. It also depends where you live for comfortable living. Area about 45 minutes north of me is hiring 80 NACU line. They make plastic bags and such. That's to start. Many make way more than that with end-of-year bonuses split between all employees, not just sales and management. At the end, look around in your area and see what you can find. there is always a job that will pay well. Removed. Whatever you choose, there are several ways to set yourself apart to stay off drugs. There are lots of these sort of jobs where they are looking for warm bodies to train who almost just need to pass a drug test, show up on time, if not early, be neat in appearance, learn basic personal financial skills, budgeting, saving, etc. Tank cleaners companies that provide industrial cleaning services, washing out storage tanks. You spend your work days in an enclosed steel tank with a pressure washer, wearing rain gear, and whatever P was required. The job isn't pleasant, but there's worse jobs, and the qualifications are pretty much know how to use a pressure washer and have a confined space entry course. Banking. It's one of the only fields where general intelligence is all you need, and you can work your way up pretty high from teller with no education. Groundskeepers. I kinda stumbled into this position after losing my job as an insurance agent because of COVID, and I was looking for any work. Not only do I make more money even after commissions, but I didn't need to pass any tests, only needed a high school degree, and need to be somewhat active and lift 50 putas lacio. The benefits are great. I have weekends off and am home by 4. Health insurance is good, 400 donik. And I learned a lot of places give extra benefits to their groundskeeper, like apartment complexes will give discounts on rent, or colleges will waive you and your family's tuition. I've been a bartender for over a decade. No schooling needed, and you can make over $1,000 sequel with tips. Issue is finding full-time work. Most people only do a few shifts per week. The hours can also be terrible if you're in a relationship, but overall, I know a lot of bartenders with great family lives. After paying $600 to have my small apartment painted, I'd say painting doesn't require much skill if you're slow and careful and pay attention to details. I ended up making about $75 an hour, and he could barely read. The guy the Koa recommended was even more expensive. Like a lot of people here are saying, trade jobs, carpentry, wiring, plumbing, VOC. My dad got out of high school and started working with my grandfather and learned a few things, and it gave him 35 years of a job without a dollar spent in school. In Skolas, car detailing, pressure washing, drive washmas, food deliverator. I personally believe that anyone can be an X-ray tech. I am one. I've had some dumb classmates and they passed the boards. It's 2 years in school. You need to study and take good notes. If you get after it, you'll be successful in anything you want to do. But it isn't rocket science, and you can make good money. Shipping jobs, specifically freight companies. FedEx and UPS gives education for forklift drivers, and as long as they pass it, very easy. It starts at around $15 for part-timers and $18 for full-time. Both companies, last time I checked, will help pay for your college education as well. Trash collector. Those guys actually do pretty well financially. Apparently president. Logging. Most crews will train someone who shows up every day sober. Thank you so much for asking this question. I have some emotional disabilities and don't have a college degree. I'm also a very slow-paced worker, not in shape, and I'm a small young woman. Finding a good paying full-time job that I'm decent at doing has been very difficult. Suitless of the suggestions in this thread sound like things worth checking out. I'm incredibly grateful. Air traffic control. Depending on location, it can be a 6-figure salary. There is a cut off of 31 years of age for the US to be hired. Only a high school education is necessary. Flight attendant. In Europe, you don't need more than high school, and the companies give you their own training course. Bad news, at least in Europe, usually it's a 6-month in, 6-out contract, but if you don't live like Manana, you should be able to save a bit for those 6 months out while you look for something else. Good news, if you work hard, you can get extension of your contract. If you work hard and they like you, they will promote you and give you a better contract. What's news? Covidwad luck. Wish you the best. If you live in an oil and gas state, Texas, Ohio, North Dakota, etc., look for a job on a rig. It's hard word, but I make around $40 an hour, and I have an associate's degree. I started in its support, changed into sales as a Pressels consultant, and shortly after was able to switch to being a solution architect. I used to study law before I admitted to myself that it wasn't for me, and apart from having used PCs for 2 decades, mostly gaming, a little WebBisneg, and Photoshop, I had no prior qualifications. Was able to triple my salary within 2 years after I decided to move on from support. My son at 24 went into car sales, made $65 his first year. If you have a decent personality, that's all it takes. I work in the industry setting appointments on internet leads and make about $50. Part commissioned or hourly. Bigger cities make even more. As a summer job, I worked in a factory that makes salads. Because of the difficult circumstances, like less than 13 to 55 diff, long hours, monotone work, I got paid quite a lot and received bonuses. Not a fulfilling job, but handsome pay. I shouldn't say this because my crews would kill me, and most people that do the job are illegally living in America, but hug movers, household goods. Just as a lumper you make $200 a day and axed. All you have to do is get a SID number, which is free. Then call Atlas, United, or Hildrop and ask to be put on the labor list for drivers. Most drivers can't find help and they always pay top dollar. Electrician, if you don't mind a little jolt every now and then. Become a day laborer either through Craigslist, temp agencies, or social connections. The trades are desperate for help in the USA, so you will likely get lots of opportunities to learn from specific tradesmen. Day laborers rarely work alone, and you will get the opportunity to observe different jobs in the field and decide what you want to pursue. If that doesn't work for you, search lube tech in the job boards. You can usually pick up the entry-level position with almost no experience. Do you know where the oil goes? Do you know what a tire is? Once again, like a day laborer, you will learn by being present in the shop. If that's not your thing, pick up a cheap lawnmower or snow blower from Craigslist and push it around your neighborhood. Knock on doors. Offer to cut a lawn for $20, $60. In either of these scenarios, keep a good attitude, show up every day on time, and trust me, you won't be unskilled for very long, and the money will come in time. Right now there is a shortage of welders. You can take a 19-week welding school and come out starting at 70. Real estate agent. Becoming a real estate agent is easy and can be very profitable. I know many people that have transferred to real estate after being laid off or leaving their former jobs and are now doing better than before. Probably a trade, like go to trade school and see what works for you. Unskilled and educated. Federal government. Just gotta know someone. I work as a boom operator in film and TV. I was lucky enough to work in a media hub city and was making over 100 for holding a stick in the air. The hours are long and the work is hard and oddly thankless, but you can have whole summers off if you want, or whenever it works out. When everything shut down, we were obviously off as we should have been. But now that we are back, I feel safe in what I do, as there are pretty good controls in place, and given how much TV and shit the average person watches, they need content. I'd suggest going the union route, as non-union is a kind of race to the bottom as far as pay and health and safety goes. Everyone says trades, and I agree mostly. I've been trying to get a carpenter's helper position so I can work on getting hours for an apprenticeship, and despite of 12 years of experience in construction, I won't get hired because I don't do heights. I just want to install doors and do finish carpentry, but that's third and fourth year stuff. I have to do high-rise construction or put together scaffolding as a first year, so it's been impossible unless you know somebody. In my opinion, talk to people you know. People here are saying stuff that needs 5 years of experience to even get an entry-level position unless you know somebody. If you're a loner, then I have no idea. Cannabis trimmer. Some companies paying $20 an hour just to trim cannabis. Honestly, look into it. Work. If you know your way around a computer kit in your everyday use and could show people how to do those things, you already have your foot in the door. Most of the IT fields will look at your experience over your schooling, and as long as you have certs or work towards them, you're pretty much golden. No school necessary. Keep in mind you can get certs on your own with study materials, and CompTIA will prep you for most of the tests for certs, which you can do from home. It's a growing market as well, so look into it if you're interested.